Good morning, everyone. How are you? TGIF, 3-day weekend. 3-day weekend. Actually, it looks like my husband's going to have basically a 4-day weekend. Woo! Katie and I have a joke every time. Okay, OJ, you just ate. Please lay down. Please lay down. I don't need anything out of you right now. Lay down. Okay, let's not do that, Reed. No, you don't need to shut the laptop. Okay, that's the fake Bombay. Geez, I lost my. Okay, he's back up here. Just lay down. Just lay down. Melanie said good morning to OJ. Should I turn the camera on so everyone can see my kitty? Yeah, everyone to see the kitty? Hang on. Let's see. Here, let's see, right here. Nope, he's not going to do it. Okay, never mind. Everybody wants to see my kitty. Not that kitty. Phew, all right. Thank you, Mermaid. She said, OJ, get your shit together. I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, I said Katie and I have a joke because we talked to my husband. You've heard a lot about him on the YouTube streets. And he's a truck driver, so he'll say things like, I got to go drop my load. I got to pick up a load. And so I said to him this morning, you better bring that load to me. It is show time, my friends.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Oh, it is. You guys had a lot of stuff to say about the post I put up yesterday. First off, let's tell each other hello, good morning, glad you're here, and what are y'all going to do for the 3-day weekend? Don't forget, we have a members live coming up. If you don't have your membership, I suggest you grab one. I'm too honest for this said, staying chilling in the AC. It's actually going to rain today. We had plans to go to the lake. Oh, there's my husband. I'm not doing a damn thing. Squeeze me? Yeah, you are. I have a list for you for this weekend that's as long as your leg. So I don't know if you're on strike or what, DT driver, but you got some stuff to do. Christina said going to be rainy in Joplin, Missouri also. Yep, the storm that's coming through Tulsa is going to be hitting you. Yep. Robin said it rains every day here. Geez. Here's the whole thing. I was telling my neighbor about this. I said, if I want it to rain, and I don't mean the Indians around here doing the rain dance. I said, all I have to do is water the yard really good and get the truck washed. Because let me tell you, then it will rain. All right, let's get to it. A lot went on yesterday, but as a refresher, let's talk about the reward. You guys light up the chat. Please hit the like. I'm going to drop the link. Anybody that wants to come up, I want to hear your theories, your opinions, and where do you think this case is going?
This bracelet right here, it says Sebastian's Army, and members of Sebastian's Army back here behind me are outside the sheriff's office today, reminding everyone that it was 6 months ago that Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his home in Hendersonville.
And I think we can all agree, I put this up earlier, Someone cannot go missing without someone knowing something somewhere. There is a lot to this story. The first person that I know of that brought it out was Trevor. And when I saw that they called off the search and there was a lot of things not adding up, he said, yeah, I think it could be something foul. Well, now we're 6 months in and the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward. Odds are nobody will get that reward. Odds are. Snazzy! Good morning, girlfriend. I've missed you. Because anyone that follows true crime, when rewards are offered by law enforcement, a lot of times people don't get it. But I am holding out hope. I truly am. That someone will speak.
Today is the 6-month anniversary of him going missing, and it's very important to keep Sebastian's name out in the public so he's not forgotten. And we were very pleased to hear about the $50,000 reward. That's going to be very helpful.
Yes, now the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to the missing 15-year-old with autism.
I hope that's the catalyst to make something move.
Ken Widener with Sumner County EMA heads up the continuing search effort for Sebastian. To date, they've found no trace of the teen. Yes, it's possible Sebastian wandered off on his own, but the FBI reward money concedes the very real possibility of foul play.
If somebody were to have done something and they told somebody something, it may be what it takes for that person to get that off their chest and make the right decision.
And
okay, let's look at this from Real Rock and Robin. What do they know to offer up to $50K? You have to wonder. 2 Boston Mons up to $50,000, right? Now, I'm not picking on the FBI. I'm just letting everybody know this is monopoly money, okay? This is monopoly money. This is saying we have 50 grand. Well, they got 500 billion if you really want to know the truth. They are a huge agency. They're trying to get someone to talk, all right? That'd be like me saying, hey, I got 50 grand in DT driver's pocket. Anybody want to come on panel? It's monopoly money, all right? Enron had better money than them. I'm not saying that they aren't going to pay up. But when they say we're offering, it means exactly, Susan, they're greasing the wheels, my friends. I'm not saying they don't have 50 grand. I'm saying they're trying to figure something out. And I really believe it comes back to the light video.
now the TBI references the reward for information leading to Sebastian.
Now, I had several comments about this. Some people said, you are reading way too much into this. Listen, I'm just reading their words. It's for the return of Sebastian or to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. I don't think I'm reading too much into it. This is what they are saying. And they're the ones that said 50 grand. 50 big ones. They don't want tips. They're not looking for people to call in and go, oh my gosh, guess what? I was watching this show the other night and they had this great idea that you guys should go and look behind a church on Highway 412. They're not looking for shit like that. That's not what they're looking for. Return of Sebastian or to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance.
Sebastian, or to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. Now, remember, investigators have never named any suspects.
Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
Still, after 6 months with no good leads, everyone wonders how a child alone could vanish without a trace. So the hope is someone out there knows something and calls in the key tip to 1-800-TBI-FIND and helps solve the mystery of what happened to Sebastian Rogers. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
I hope so too. Robin said keyword in parentheses, those. People can stomp their feet, they can scream, they can yell. They have to put it together for a jury. Two Boston Moms says up to 50K doesn't mean anyone will get the entire 50K. It's up to that amount, if I understand correctly. They had a big old bounty. You guys remember that crazy fool Vicky White in Florence, Alabama? Got her prison lover out, and they headed out, and they were found in Indiana. Car Wash James didn't get the reward. He didn't. And he's the one that turned everything in. That was beyond a credible tip. Now, I am not here to deter anybody from talking at all. At all. Well, there was a huge GoFundMe for him. Car Wash James got a bunch of money. It just wasn't from the FBI, if you know what I mean. Big T said maybe he turned it down. Oh, hell no. He called him all the damn time. I think he sat on hold on an 800 number for like 6 damn hours. Hell yeah, he wanted the money. He's Car Wash James. Of course he did. Who wouldn't? Like Susan said, they're greasing the wheels. All right, yesterday, what people have been waiting for. Katie and Chris gave a statement. It was posted on Nick Barris's Facebook page. They said, we would first like to thank the FBI for this gracious reward offer of $50,000 to benefit the case of our missing son, Sebastian Rogers. People are very upset about this statement because they are saying, they're like, hold on. Sebastian is not Chris's son. We pray that this reward, it will bring some useful tips and or leads that result in the safe return of Sebastian to his home in Hendersonville. We would also like to say thank you to Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, and the supportive public for the continuous efforts being made to bring Sebastian home safe and sound. Your tireless efforts are acknowledged and greatly appreciated. Sebastian, if you hear this, just know that all of your family loves and misses you, and we can't wait to have you home safe and sound. Okay, that is their statement. Some people, it fell on deaf ears. They're like, not impressed, not impressed, not impressed. That's their opinion. The article goes on, investigators continue to consider all options that includes the possibility that Sebastian is the victim of foul play. But now, in the absence of all credible leads, baseless rumors and theories continue to run rampant on social media. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. Many point to the mother and stepfather, but that means nothing without proof. He is correct. Without proof, you got nothing. Look at that. Karma Libra. She goes, woohoo, I'm green again, girlfriend, you are. Snazzy, thank you for the super sticker. This case gives me Rudy vibes. The guy who was missing, but his mom knew where he was the entire time. I almost texted you about this the other day, Snazzy, because we did a lot on that case. And I thought to myself, Wouldn't that be the shits if we have another Scotty Morris or a Rudy Farias situation? Thank you so much. You read my mind.
Morning from the parents of Sebastian Rogers. He's the 15-year-old boy, of course, who went missing from his home in Hendersonville 6 months ago now. And now his loved ones are weighing in on an increase in reward money being offered in an effort to find him. Brianna Hamblin's joining us live now with more on this. So, Brianna, what did they have to say?
Ben, Sebastian's mother and stepfather.
I love her top and earrings. I'm telling you. I love it. I love that color. And those earrings, that copper, love it.
Father are thanking the FBI for the reward money. Katie and Chris Proudfoot told our Nick Barris, "We pray that with this reward, it will bring some useful tips and or leads that result in the safe return of Sebastian to his home in Hendersonville." They went on to say, "Sebastian, if you hear this, just know that all of your family loves and misses you, and we can't wait to have you home safe and sound." They also thanked the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the TBI, and the public for their efforts to find Sebastian. Investigators say there are still no leads in the case and no evidence of foul play. He disappeared from his home on the night of February 26th and was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and black square-framed glasses. If you have any information that can help investigators, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
All right. What do you all think about the statement? What do you think? I said something about it on the community tab the other day, and some of you were not impressed. So let's look at your comments. Peas in a Pod said the FBI is fishing with that reward, in my opinion. If family members are involved, they can't collect that money anyway. But I'm sure law enforcement is watching for that scramble of calls and texts about how to make him turn up suddenly, with a lot of laughing emojis. You can bet they are even tapping those burner phones. Woo, peas in a pod. Hero Forever said they are hopeful it will bring answers. Well, if you'd start talking, we would have answers, as in telling the truth. Laura Toole said too little too late. Petty Kim, Petty Kitty Fam, said, oh, gee, a whole statement after 6 months. Well, it's something, I guess. Laura Strobel said 2 days after the reward was announced, they speak on it. They must be trolling YouTube to check for reactions from people. Could be. It's Drew said, if Seth has him, he might be in Texas, in my opinion. Okay. All right. Y'all had a lot to say. Well, let's look at some of Seth's reactions. Remember, I am not Team Seth. I am not Team Katie. I am not Team Proud Feet. I am not Team Power Socks. I believe Sebastian was not treated well. I don't care how nice that house is. And we will go through that in a minute. Okay, we will. It's a very strange design of a home. So for her to hear a thud just doesn't add up for me.
I was the last one to this stupid fucked up party. I'm not an easy person to get along with, but neither is my ex-wife.
There. What did Katie personally tell you happened? Did you guys talk when you got to the house?
When I got there, I assessed the situation before I walked in. There was law enforcement was everywhere, in and out the doors, so on and so forth. By the time I got there, the dog people were there and the drone people were there. I was the last one to this stupid fucked up party. I'm not an easy person to get along with, but neither is my ex-wife. The divorce was kind of horrible. I mean, she accused me of some nasty things. And I'll tell you right now, if people really want to look, they can look at mine, because all of my declarations aren't written by me. I refuse to write anything bad about that lady. I refused. What happened behind closed doors, what she put me through, the hell that she put me through. I didn't have a thing. I mean, we're talking about, I was 7 years without a girlfriend after the divorce. I didn't even, I wasn't looking for it. No. I mean, it takes time to heal from trauma, from abuse.
I'll be stripped away, and I want to strip it away a layer even more. And I want to meet Sebastian. I want to meet him right now, actually.
Okay. I think we can all agree that there is still a lot of this. By the way, Jay for Justice put these clips together. I think we can all agree that there is bad blood. Okay? There is huge resentment. You have Seth saying, I was without a girlfriend for 7 years. Now, you can just imagine how upset he was when she moved on with her life. I do understand some people say, none of that matters, none of that matters, none of that matters. Listen, please. Let's put on our listening ears. Your ears are not painted on your head. If this is foul play, in the trial, they're going to go through past, present, what led up to his disappearance. We've seen it in many, many trials, to the point we sit there and go, what does this have to do with anything? How many times have we watched a trial together, my friends, and we go, now hold on, what's this got to do with anything? It has nothing to do with us, to be quite honest. It's to give the full picture to the jury. I do not see this cohesive co-parenting unit between Seth, Katie, and Chris. I don't. I think Seth was bullied the F out of the picture. That's what I see. I think slowly but surely they were doing everything they could to alienate him. The question is, why suddenly, in your opinion, did they want Seth to take Sebastian? Why? He can't do online school at their home? They talk about boundaries. Chris said if people knew about Sebastian, they wouldn't search for him. I think it comes down, my opinion, to what Chris wants. And what Chris wanted was his daughter, Faith.
Actually, the thumbnail that's going to come up, it's not up yet, but it's been finished. It's beautiful, with beautiful pictures that you provided. So I first want to talk about Katie in a different light. I want to talk about Katie in terms of when you all got married. I just want the audience to understand there was a time when things were good. There was a time when you wanted to join in matrimony and have a family. So can you bring us back sort of to that day when it happened and so on, and just bring us up into the time?
Married the day after my birthday. We got married June 21st, 2008. It was a very hot summer day. I remember our vehicle didn't have air conditioning. I didn't get to spend the night at my house, so I was over sleeping on a couch at a friend's house because can't be in the house with the bride the night before the wedding. Kind of particular. So yeah. And literally the stress of it all, I actually had a migraine the whole night. So it's not like I got to do anything fun or exciting. I was sitting there like, I need water, I need ibuprofen, and I need my head smashed in with a hammer.
What did you wear? Traditional tuxedo, or was it a cowboy wedding? What did you wear?
I wore it was a tuxedo. Well, no, it was a suit, brown suit. She was in a dress, beautiful dress. She was beautiful. I mean, I still remember some of the comments that she made that, she was like, you've never.
Big breath. Let's move on, Jen.
So that this night occurs, this is, you love her, she loves her, you loves her, you.
So we go through, we end up getting married.
Retro said someone is still carrying a torch. Well, we never get over sometimes, the ones that we have love for. Good morning, Poppy Red Mustang. Snazzy Trinkets Jewelry said Seth didn't want him either. He could have had him over a year ago, but wanted his behavior to improve first, was his excuse. I was blown away when he said that. And yes, one of these clips is from Jennifer Coffindaffer. Has anyone noticed that she does much better on her own channel as opposed to News Nation? She hasn't had Idiot of the Week in a long time because she's kind of been doing her own thing. Oh, Snazzy's cooking. What are you cooking, Snazzy?
Walk down the aisle. My dad actually is the one that migraine the whole night. So it's not like I got to do anything fun or exciting. I was sitting there like, I need water, I need ibuprofen, and I need my head smashed in with a hammer.
What did you wear? Traditional tuxedo, or was it a cowboy wedding? What did you wear?
I wore it was a tuxedo. Well, no, it was a suit, brown suit. She was in a dress, beautiful dress. She was beautiful. I mean, I still remember some of the comments that she made that, she was like, you've never.
Big breath. Let's move on, Jen.
So that this night occurs, this is.
I don't like how Tony is talking to the host of the show. I don't. You hear him say, Tony Mathis, when he said, let's move on, Jen. Now, if you're prepared to answer questions, answer questions. I do not believe that Seth needs a bodyguard with him at all times. I don't believe that Seth needs someone to speak for him or to cut into interviews and tell people what they can and can't talk about. I have had many interviews on this channel, and I always say, if you can talk about it, if you can answer, if you can't, no one is going to hold it against you. No one is. I really prefer when people speak for themselves as opposed to having a wingman. That's just how I roll. Just like when you're upset with someone, you confront that person. You don't need to tell the whole world about it because you just look like a sack full of assholes once it's done. It's much better to speak for yourself in all regards, or don't say anything.
You love her, she loves her, you loves her, you.
So we go through, we end up getting married, walk down the aisle. My dad actually is the one that walked her down the aisle. Afterwards.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I'm fair on both sides, or trying to. How heartbreaking. We know about Katie's family. We know about her past. So she's marrying Seth, and his dad walks her down the aisle. Now, it's one thing if your father has passed away, your father's in the hospital, your father can't be there. Her family history is deplorable. Deplorable. And I can say this right now for Katie. I don't blame her at all for not wanting that put out. We Gobshite, member for 3 months, said, thank you to whoever gifted me a membership. Are we gifted memberships in here? Karma did. Karma Libra did it. Well, my goodness, grab your umbrellas because Karma's on a roll today. I don't want no karma coming for me. Kimberly Mann said he loves that woman a hell of a lot more than she deserves. He's very loyal to her. Now, I think he has put some things out he shouldn't have about Katie and about Sebastian, but who hasn't ever lost the checkout counter between your brain and your mouth? Okay? I do it on the daily. I do. You guys have heard me.
We had a little country boil at the back of my parents' house. Sat there. There are pictures in my wedding album that I still have where I'm walking around with a huge bottle of champagne. And that's what I was drinking on all night while other people were drinking beer. I'm carrying a bottle of champagne around. And my mom and dad got us a hotel room and everything. And we got there. There was some expensive cheese and grapes and stuff like that. And she started watching TV. And I was like, I'm drunk. I'm going to bed. And I don't think she ever really forgave me for it or let me forget it either. But, you know, that was years ago. I mean, and it was shortly after that my family got bigger.
Tell me about that moment, the moment when Katie told you we're going to have a baby.
She told me, and she told me pretty much on my mom's birthday, on April 15th. She was like, hey,
VA Dynamics said going through the details of a happy memory while your kid is missing and getting emotional doesn't necessarily mean your feelings for that person are still the same. I agree. I agree. So she turns on the TV. Seth had had a little too much drinky drink. Don't be telling some of our ex members about that. They'll want to start a GoFundMe to put Seth in Betty Ford. Jean Ellen, she said, nothing better while mowing lawns and listening to Brooke speak. I might just bite the bullet and get my first membership. Your show is worthy of support. I enjoy you lots. I enjoy you too. You want to come mow my lawn? I about had it. About had it with this lawn. I'm not a fall or winter person, but it is not going to hurt my feelings when this shit dies off. But I'll be bitching about it right after. Come get your membership, girl.
I'm pregnant. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a horrible dad. I mean, just it's something I've never been part of. So it's just like, here's another challenge in my life. And I'm probably going to fail at it miserably. So I let my mom know, you're going to have another grandchild. And from there, it, came along. December came around and my son didn't want to come out. My son was, I want to say 5 days
I don't know
late.
why he slept all the time when he was here. I didn't give him sleep aids. Literally was asked what I did for him to sleep here at my house. And I told law enforcement, hot shower and some sleepy time tea, which is still up there in the cabinet, bought at Walmart. I do it myself so that I can get to sleep a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. That's it. I don't believe in this medication and stuff that he was taking. I never did. And one of the reasons she divorced me is because I refused to sign off on any type of pharmaceutical medication for my son because I believed in home remedies. He had ADHD, then give him this. Got into arguments with psychologists at the school. You want to give him a cup of coffee every 2 hours. Well, you want to give him a pill every 4. Mm-hmm. I'd rather give him a cup of coffee and his kidneys will filter it out and he goes and takes a leak instead of building stuff up in the system and you're giving him Ritalin. You're giving him basically pharmaceutical meth. What are you trying to do to our kids.
Seth said kids. The reason I think he said kids is because he wanted to have more children. That's just my tiny bit of psychology for the day. Criminal Med member for 13 months. She said made it over a year. Time for a beer, that rhymed and all. Well, hello, Robin. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good, and I don't have anything good to say about a mother that's doing nothing. I mean,
Let's
put
talk.
me in the camp.
Let's talk. I want to hear people's opinions. I want to hear their theories. I don't want them called into the tip line, but let's talk.
Put me in front of a camera 24/7. I have been through what she's not going through, in my opinion. Why didn't they go on the news? Why was it said the way it was said? Why didn't you have the news crew in your face? You know how many times I've been to Michigan to fight for my daughter?
Absolutely, you have. Absolutely, you have. And a lot of people have had those questions about Dawn and Candace Wells. Why are you not cooperating with the police? Why are you not talking to the media? You know, they did talk to the media. They did an interview. Then they went on Nancy Grace, and they did that one that was an epic fail when they were in the camper in Mississippi. They're like, because Sebastian could be anywhere. And I'm like, no, hold on. Okay, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing in Mississippi when your son's missing? I mean, come on now. That boy did not go missing by himself. He had help. And I do not believe it was social media. I do not believe it was an abduction. And FBI needs to know that people have opinions, and the opinions that people have are basically all the same.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't see it, why put up a $50K reward for Sebastian? They got to know something.
They have to know something. Good morning, Zach Walker. They're not just going to throw up that Monopoly money without knowing somebody knows something that they need them to talk. Because you know this from what you went through. They have to put together a jury, and they've got to lay down concrete facts. Retro's backstage. Let's see what she thinks. Retro, what you got for me today?
Just thinking that I'm mixed on stuff, Seth.
Go ahead. We respect each other's opinion around here.
Okay, my opinion on Seth is a bit mixed. He seems to not be working. He seems to be kind of doing his own thing and not working much with law enforcement.
In my opinion, they won't work with him because he's a loose cannon.
Yes, and that to me, I think that goes to his personality a little bit.
I'm not saying he did anything to his son. I'm not saying he doesn't love his son, but you have to have a certain level of trust with law enforcement. We saw it in the Idaho 4 when they cut out the Goncalves family altogether because they did not want Steve Goncalves repeating things on the news. We've seen it in other cases where they're like, no, we'll make our own announcement. Yeah. Would you agree with that, Robin? I mean, who wouldn't blame you for being anxious?
Well, yeah, Seth shoots his mouth off a lot. He really does. Mm-hmm. And I can see Ellie wanting to limit their exposure to that.
I don't blame Seth at all. I don't. Seth is a grieving father, Ellie won't talk to him. Ellie needs to talk to him because that is his child. And like every month or less, I call my advocate because the boy that took my daughter, he's appealing his second life in prison without parole. And
horrible, but they can trust you. They can trust you. I mean, the horrible thing that happened to your daughter is solved, and everyone put some prayer hands in here for Robin.
It's not solved. It's still going on. He's fighting. He wants to be heard. He said that he didn't have proper representation. He had 5 attorneys.
Jeez.
The attorneys did not convict you, dude. The judge convicted you.
Yeah, the judge did, and the judge heard everything. When an investigation is ongoing, they have to keep things under the vest. They don't want to tell criminals what they know. Nobody's like playing poker in a way. It's the only metaphor I can think of right now, because you show your hand, you lose. So I think that's the reason they won't tell him anything. That's just my opinion.
I just feel so bad for Seth. I really do. I mean, I've read a lot of people just dogging him, and I don't understand. I mean, the news is there for a reason, not for you to write something or go by some script. You don't want your son found, Katie. You don't care about Sebastian. I mean, come on.
I've never spoken to her, so I don't know. But I believe that she knows a hell of a lot more. Nobody can be at the house when a child disappears and not know more. It's impossible. Unless it's a true abduction. In the case of Michael Vaughn, I mean, the parents have said everything they know, and we know there is 4 suspects, and it's a true abduction, and they're still looking for the body of Michael Vaughn. We have other cases where the person that was home with the child has their thumb up their ass and the other thumb in their mouth. They don't know nothing. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. No way can you be at home and not know what's going on around you unless you're just fucked out of your mind. Let's get back to what you said.
Needed to understand that what happens if something happens to me? And all of a sudden he doesn't have insurance anymore. And then all of a sudden he has no idea what meds he's supposed to be on or anything else. And he's got to learn how to take care of himself. He's got to learn to function on his own without the use of medication. And until he was 8 years old, he wasn't on any medication. I refused that stuff. Didn't have a single problem. Had a structure and routine in the house. And he flourished with that. They stress me out. And I'm not a 15-year-old kid. I'm in law enforcement, and I'm literally at DDC with 65 inmates that are either murderers or in there for a long period of time about to go to prison. And those two stress me the fuck out and worked up. Wow. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry. This is just one of those. Take a deep breath. Relax.
Seth is not in law enforcement.
And this is probably going to, my next questions are going to kind of be geared toward.
Okay, who's speaking? Someone said Seth is not in law enforcement. Well, technically,
he's not. He's a correctional officer, and I don't know why he would even say he's in law enforcement. Dude, you don't wear a badge.
Well, and I mean, I know that he's, had some issues, at work for, being too friendly with the inmates. I'm not saying he's doing it. I'm not saying that he is. I don't know. I mean, he just mentioned that he had some issues with, getting too friendly with the inmates. And that's something that you don't do.
Well, I've been in jail, and I wish the COs were nice, but they're not. They're not. They treat you like you're a prisoner. I mean, I don't get it. You don't have human in you. I mean,
Seth has a big heart, but he wears it on his sleeve
what
entirely.
Like, I asked my advocate, I'm like, why is Jason still alive? Somebody don't know anything about what he did, because there's no way that he would still be breathing if people knew what he did. Prisoners you don't mess with children.
No. Rexy said, I think Katie and Chris know where he's at. Passion Flower said, I can't get over my runaway kitty. I look constant, flyers up, etc., and Katie isn't. Wow, says a lot to me. I put up a flyer. I was over at 81st and Lewis in Tulsa, and there was a family standing outside, and as people would come to the traffic light, they were handing out flyers of their kitty bingo. So I put it up because, I mean, I know a lot of people from Oklahoma. If you see this kitty, let these people know. People kept coming in going, wow, that is way more than other parents have done. Let's see something. My husband said correction officers are law enforcement. I need force Tennessee and other state correctional law. Okay, thank you, DT driver. Hello, the cat's life.
Chris. Oh, according to Chris, both of you guys spoke, what he's told the world is basically you guys speak regularly. Is that true, and how often?
About Sebastian, yes.
Yeah.
But obviously, he's feeding me a line of bullshit every time I fucking spoke to him. And my phone number is still the same.
That's what I want to talk about. Seth was not at the house. Chris was not at the house. Katie was at the house. Now, let me tell you something. Chris Proudfoot is one nasty human being. He is. Him and Don Wells should have their own damn country club. I'm telling you right now. The way he bullies, plays the little big man syndrome, all the above. I think he was threatened by Sebastian. Sebastian can do a lot of stuff better than him. Sebastian was almost taller than him. Sebastian could beat him at chess. We have heard from other neighbors about how he would speak to Sebastian, how he was more ingrained with his daughter Faith. And that was to do a one-up on the ex. That's my opinion.
And don't forget, he was a rival for Katie's attention.
A rival for Katie's attention, exactly.
My suspicion is that was first and foremost. I see Chris Proudfoot as a certain personality type who doesn't want who couldn't be much of a step parent.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about what I believe, in my opinion, what Chris Proudfoot's personality is.
Drive a narcissistic person in a relationship are power, control, and domination. And the narcissistic person uses the relationship as a source of validation. If those needs are not being met or cannot be achieved, that is a contributor to the volatility of these relationships. Drive a narcissistic person in a relationship are power, control, and domination. And the narcissistic person uses the relationship as a source of validation. If those needs are not being met or cannot be achieved, that is a contributor to the volatility of these relationships.
One-Eyed Flo, thank you for the super sticker. Thanks for playing this. I mod for Jay. come over and say hi. I listen often quietly. It's nice here. Thanks all. Absolutely. I love her work. I'd love to have her on the show. And I will pop in and say hi, Holly S. Thank you for the super sticker. 100% sub was getting taller than Chris, which is not hard. Exactly. OJ's almost taller than him, and was probably starting to stick up for himself and made him jealous. I'm really tired of people acting like Sebastian was not capable of making decisions. Now let's go back to what Chris Proudfoot sent to Seth the day Sebastian went missing. Does anyone remember the text?
I do.
I do.
Go ahead, Retro.
I'm going to let Robin do it because I remember. Don't be angry. Sebastian's missing. Don't be mad. Was that it, Robin?
Don't be mad. Don't be mad. But Sebastian's missing. Missing is a word that is basically the end of the road. Missing means you damn sure can't find it. Can't find means can't find him. I think about the case of Lacey Peterson when Scott Peterson called Sharon Rocha. Totally different cases. Cannot be compared. Cannot be anything like that. He called Sharon Rocha and said, "Have you seen Lacey?" She says, "No." Now, mind you, she was going to be making gingerbread that day, giving it to neighbors, getting ready for something that night. He goes, "Well, she's missing." When I heard what Chris Proudfoot said to Seth, "Don't be mad, he's missing." Can't find is different. Now, again, this is a totally different situation. We had just moved into this house. We had a horrible storm. The back door was blown open. My cat had never been outside, didn't know the sense out there or anything. So I have to start calling around. And I didn't say my cat's missing. I said, I can't find my cat. There is a huge difference between can't find and missing. Missing means it's never coming back. One-Eyed Flo, thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. You're going to love it here, and we're going to love you.
And I know he's probably watching. He's probably in chat. Hi, Chris. Buck off. You can call me. Sorry, that's my key. Buck off. You can call me. Sorry, that's been my key phrase, I guess. Right. You know, but that's been my key phrase for a long time, way before my son went off to, play Houdini out of their house. Beat me up, Scotty. It's only a Chevy. But I'm just tired of the bullshit. No parent should be going through this. I'm a suspect.
And you have not been cleared?
No, nobody has. For him to have left between the times of falling asleep and 6 o'clock in the morning, this is straight bullshit. Another day that first one was a divorce, way to destroy the nuclear family. Another one to take the last bit of my family away from me. She's good at that. Something I always told my son. There's two things in this world that you can do with these. You can either build or you destroy. Be a builder. Don't be a destroyer. That's not gender specific either. That's with everybody. The only person that has an input on it would be his mom and me. We run the show to find our son. I don't care if you're married to her now or not. A united front is not me and the stepfather working to find my son. It's me, the mother, and her husband working to find our son. But he needs to learn how to support his wife in a supportive role while she looks for her son. But I don't see that. You know, the only support I have are some of my close friends.
You have. What was it like when you arrived at the home outside of the craziness from law enforcement? You know, what was the behavior of the people, Katie and other people that were there?
When I walked in, Katie said something to me and then shoved her phone in my face. There was a picture of Sebastian, the one that you see him with his optimism shirt on. Started kind of confused me on why she's shoving a picture of Sebastian in my face.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why.
Why?
She put it right in his face. See, he had a good day. See, I do take care of him. See, he had a great weekend.
She was defending herself, not giving him information so he could help her find Sebastian. She was defending herself.
Exactly. And she's been trying to defend herself. Well, I don't understand. What was wrong with Sebastian? I noticed that Seth said that he was on some meds at 8, at the age of 8. He wasn't diagnosed with autism until he was 15.
August of last year when he was 14 years old. VA Dynamics said, ask the Proudfoot and Seth the same question. What have you done for Sebastian yesterday and what are you doing for him today? That is a powerful comment.
It is.
What did you do for your son yesterday? What are you doing for him today? Their hands are really tied unless someone's going to tell the truth, because they're going to have to wait for investigators to dig up exactly what happened. And it seemed to me at one point it was in fast forward when they were searching that landfill in Kentucky. As of now, I don't know. I mean, the medication he took was for him to sleep, but we have a situation where a child suddenly went way downhill. We go from being able to use the bathroom on our own to having a mattress in the garage and wearing basically adult diapers. We saw that in the Summer Wells case. You see a very healthy young girl, vibrant, loving life. The next thing you know,
a child not go from not having a diagnosis, even so much of as a diagnosis, to that just seems really strange. There's got to be more to the story.
And I'm not comparing the two cases. It's just what popped in my head. I can bring up Harmony Montgomery. You know, she was doing great. Next thing you know, she's with Adam and she suddenly isn't using the bathroom like she's supposed to. And we know that he murdered her. You know, I think it's Summer Wells. You see the pictures from the summer of 2020. She's having a great time. She's loving life. And then there's this decline from the pictures. Next thing you know, she has a shaved head. She's skin and bones. And now she's missing. So what is going on with Sebastian? He's diagnosed autistic in August of 2023. Next thing you know, he's got medication for chromosome deletion and to sleep. Now we're in pull-ups. And supposedly they were guarding everything he did on the internet. Does anyone believe he didn't get on the internet? Listen, he's a smart kid.
Mm-hmm. But there's a difference between abduction and kidnapping. There's a huge difference.
Was he abducted?
We don't know. No one has said.
Or if he would have been taken by somebody, lured away by somebody he met on the internet, would that be an abduction?
That's
Yeah.
for the authorities to categorize. We know in the case of Michael Vaughn, it has said abduction. Abduction, abduction, abduction. Harmony Montgomery, they never labeled it. It just said missing. Jesus. A little boy in Grapevine, Texas, Amber Alert yesterday. It was not categorized. He was found safe. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. We need more.
Quite honestly, Katie's account of that night does not jibe with doesn't seem to with the experience of had Sebastian taken off with somebody that had lured him on the internet. It seems like his mother's story would sound a little bit different if that's what had happened. That's in my opinion.
The car waiting is the key. The car waiting is the key. I believe.
Oh, do you think? Okay, maybe it sounds like you might think that he may have happened. I just can't. I just can't buy into that one after listening to Katie's interview.
Well, she doesn't know shit about shit. If she had a mouthful of shit, she couldn't say shit. All she can tell you is, a whole load of nothing. So either she just did not care and wasn't paying attention, or I don't know, or she's part of it.
What was it like when you arrived at the home outside of the craziness from law enforcement? What was the behavior of the people, Katie and other people that were there?
When I walked in, Katie said something to me and then shoved her phone in my face. There was a picture of Sebastian, the one that you see him with his optimism shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Started kind of confused me on why she's shoving a picture of Sebastian in my face. I know what my son looks like.
Do you know why she did that?
No. Still don't know why. I'm looking to see what I can see. Obviously, my son's not there. Turn around.
Does anyone think that she projected her problems with Seth on to Sebastian?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My cat's staring at me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, mine's behind me, profit and treason. Does anyone think that could be a possibility?
Yes.
And I was there for a little bit, just enough to talk, to find out what was going on, to find out if they had any evidence or if anything, to hear the evidence that was being said. And then I jumped in my truck and started looking for my son. Kind of hard to explain. But
was she acting normal?
Her phone in my face, had a picture going, see, we're at BJ's yesterday and everything was fine. And I'm like, you're trying to prove something to me. That's not how you.
Statement.
It's not how you prove something to me. So the time the people that came over, I was just sitting in a chair. People kind of looked at me, and then they would have their conversations with Chris and Katie and Kathy and whoever else was there. There was some.
Why is there a freaking Kathy in every damn true crime case? Son of a bitch. We got a Kathy popping up in every one.
Introductions, but I'm not one of those people who just appear to
I
be
can't
concerned.
I need
Some
to
of them
know
brought
what
the
everybody
video
thinks.
footage over for Chris to look at. So Chris got to see all the video footage, and I didn't get to see shit.
That's quite
Still in the dark.
that's quite interesting. What was your relationship like with the Proudfoots, with Katie and Chris?
I'm not an easy person to get along with.
Did Katie file for divorce on February 26th?
I have no idea. I'd have to pull out the records and take a look at when she filed for a divorce.
Well, somebody is.
She did. Approximately 8 years to the date that Sebastian went missing. Nine Lives Mama, thank you so much for the super sticker. Now, this might be an issue right here. This is their house. Everyone already knows the address. Everyone already knows the address. I'm not putting the address out. I hate that word doxing because there's nothing wrong with using someone's first name. Ridiculous. People cross platforms all the time. Okay? They cross platforms all the time. Everything is on the damn internet. Now, there's some personal things that you know about someone you shouldn't put out. This is the back of the house.
Okay, I thought it looked different. That's why.
That's the side. You can see the side garage right there. Now, remember, there's a common area behind there to where they keep trying to act like some damn trash truck was going through this common area. That did not happen.
I don't think so.
No. Okay, that's their garden room. That's an upstairs bedroom. Now, is this the room that they kept the snakes in? I have heard this is the room. That's where they kept the snakes at. We lost Robin, by the way.
That must have been before they gave them away.
And we have conflicting statements about that, if they truly sold them all or not. Doxy Mom said there's a creator with a great video about the lights. We're going to get to that in a minute if you guys have time. Thank you so much, Nine Lives Mama, for gifting a Crime Lines and Lies membership. Who got it? Still Waters just gifted one too. Carrie B got it. One Shot got it. Woohoo, you girls. Woo! Okay, this is definitely an attic room. The laundry room. There's the bathroom. Britain Walking Dead need a membership because they're not going to want to miss this members live coming up. Hell, that looks like my bathroom. Shit. All right, there's a bedroom. The trajectory of the house tells me she did not hear a thud unless he was banging around in a cabinet trying to get food. We had a very interesting comment the other day saying maybe, and again, it's a maybe, he was trying to get into the pantry. Well, obviously, if you open up the pantry door, it's just going to open. It's not going to bang. But if you're trying to get into it, that could be the thud. Because we know Chris said they had all that stuff locked up.
That's something that has just never never sat right with me, is all the talk about food and Sebastian's eating and Chris saying that, and Sebastian looking actually quite skinny in the pictures. That's one thing that's just never sat right with me. One of many things.
In his bedroom was on the other side of the house, though. We have two questions. Was there really a thud? Or did she go into the kitchen? I can go into my kitchen right now and open a cabinet. It's not going to make a thud unless I just slam the damn thing. But if I'm trying to get into something, you're going to hear a noise.
I think
And they had him on camera sneaking snacks.
Ugh. Yeah, there's something very nuanced about that whole thud thing. I'm going to have to listen again to that that video that you played where Steve Johnson was on the interview room talking with the statement analyst, and listen more to what he said about the thud, because people who have studied statement analysis and investigated cases talking about that, her claim about the thud, and it sounds like it could be a pretty nuanced thing. Causes me to doubt that she literally heard a thud.
Big T, thank you for gifting Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Let's get our umbrellas. You guys are the absolute best. Your support of this channel means the world to me. All right, there's a shower. I can just imagine Chris's nasty ass in there getting all sudded up.
Nice.
Very nice tub. That's one of those walk-in ones. Okay.
That's a gorgeous house. Wow.
Oh, it is. Money doesn't buy happiness, and it doesn't make happy kids. I like that Audrey Hepburn picture, but remember, this is from Zillow from before they bought the home. Screaming Inside said, yeah, I think the thud was fabrication. Very nice sunroom. We have that same, we actually have that same color design in our house. We just don't have the white cabinets because OJ scratches shit.
Is that called a built-in stove? What's that kind of a stove called?
Yeah, kitchen islands stove. Yeah, absolutely.
That's spectacular. Wow.
One-Eyed Flo, my goodness, thank you. Hey, One-Eyed Flo, when you get a second, send me an email. Thank you so much, girlfriend. Okay, now remember, the kitchen is basically the center of the house. I mean, unlike my house, because the kitchen's at the other end. The bedrooms are at the other end. If I heard a thud in my house, I would know it came from a couple of bedrooms. Well, unless my cat's, screwing around somewhere. I think the thud, considering where Katie sleeps and Chris, given he was home that night, I think the thud would have come from him trying to get into a cabinet. That is just my opinion, because I've been racking my brain about what was said on the show the other day when someone said, I think he was trying to get into the pantry. Well, you can easily quietly open a drawer or quietly open a cabinet. But if it's locked and you're like, trying to open it, you could possibly hear a thud. Jill E., thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Now I'm trying to figure out how they kept all this shit locked up. That right there, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. This white door, to me, would be a problem. All right, let's get to the mob crew because they have broke down a lot of the lights in the backyard. This credit goes to the mob crew. I'm only going to play part of it because they deserve the views. You guys have time for this? Put a 1 in chat if you do. Put a 2 and say, fuck no, I'm too busy today. Retro's got time.
And I'm going to quickly shut down that theory, especially for that road, because when we look at the floodlights that they believe are floodlights, the lights, whatever they are much lower than the floodlights or whatever the double lights are. So here's Chronicles of Olivia. I think I need to put her interview. I think most of you have seen that, but I try, if I show people's footage, I always like to give them credit and put links to their videos. I think I need to put hers in the link.
I always forget to put the links down. Shits and Giggles said this is BS. What part, my friend? The mob crew? Or just me saying that the thud could have been from him getting into cabinets, hun?
Here is my question about that thud. Why would she say, I heard a thud? Why, if she lives in that house, her son lives in that house with her, why would she not be more specific? I heard a thud. I thought it was Sebastian trying to get into a cabinet. That we keep some stuff in that he's not allowed into. I heard a thud. It sounded like it came from the kitchen. She gives no elaboration on what she thought the thud could have been or what she thought it was. She just said thud. Very, very general. That to me is just weird.
I don't like generalizations, like when people say everyone said it. Well, who the fuck is everyone? Shits and Giggles said same as Summer. I agree. One-eyed Flo, don't go. Oh, I rhymed. One-eyed Flo, don't go. Everyone together. One-eyed Flo, don't go. One-eyed Flo, don't go. It is. It's too non-specific. It's too generalized. Heard a thud.
Well, if you hear me talking about a noise that I hear in my house, it's just automatic that I'm going to be saying, first I thought it was this, and then I heard it again, and then I figured out it was this other thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be pretty specific about the sounds from my environment are so familiar to me that I'm going to be quite specific about what when I hear a noise, what it sounds like and where I think it's coming from. And I'm not just going to say a thud. That's weird. Non-specific.
Too non-specific. I can't stand it. Hey, Kat, what's up, girlfriend? Shits and Giggles. Love that name. Trailers. Grandparents went there. Yeah, the grandparents, the Bauer Sox, the Stinky Sox, they took off to Alaska and they went to Puerto Rico. Terry Bauer Sox was in a Facebook group. And he goes, well, where do you suggest we search? We looked everywhere. Sure you did. You can't look everywhere. If you looked everywhere, you'd find him. I couldn't find my car keys the other day. Guess what? I fucking found them.
Everybody else I did. Again, here's her asking about the lights, and I just think it's interesting the way Chris Proudfoot answered this. And then, of course, we'll dive even deeper into the lights, and then we're going to listen to the neighbor who has supposedly seen the footage and explains what she saw. And it's really, in my opinion, it's very disturbing.
Everything is still on the table to be looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere. One other question I have is recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2 flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video? Or
Sure. So there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay. And that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what I can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen.
So again, here is me overlaying that because I was always wondering, when I saw this footage, I'm like, what is this, kind of white thing at the bottom here? And I was just kind of playing around with the original screenshot, and I was just trying to line up the 2 lights because keep in mind, again, like I said earlier, I don't know if it was Nick Barracks or his team, instead of having it, instead of just zooming in and have it stationary, they're kind of, tracking it. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. So this is kind of moving, but you can clearly see how this lines up with the trim of the red, the driver's side of the white truck in the driveway here.
Video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from. And nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately. Okay. And anything about any other videos or anything like that, please refer to the TBI News link that they have out there. They have updated Amber Alert stuff. And it will give you the most up-to-date information that all law enforcement has. And they will give you current as far
Good to
as
see you, Captain, buddy.
And how they're looking at things.
and if there's any new video, forward it to them.
Please.
Do they sound concerned? We're hearing some duper's delight here. And if there's anything new, send it to them. Now, I want to get to the breakdown, please, because I want you guys to see this on their channel.
Okay, so this is where she describes, and she does it 2 times. So, and it's a little weird. So I'm really curious to see how you guys break this down if you haven't heard this before, because it's a little confusing. I think I kind of understand most of it, but yeah. So she again, she lives. This is Miss Bobby. She lives somewhere at the end of this area here, off Kelly Lane here. Very sweet lady. Then we have Sebastian Rogers' home right here. We have where the surveillance camera is kind of pointed. You know, this isn't super accurate. This is just kind of a guesstimation of where the camera is pointed.
I was told that there was an unidentified car sitting on my street facing the entrance somewhere around 3:30 or so, and then the flashlights were actually seen on the neighbor's camera, 2 separate flashlights walking in between the yards, which the trash truck does not do.
Yeah, so she clearly states, you know, these lights, and again, we're going to look at some more perspectives. These lights are clearly come, whatever they are. Again, I don't know if they're flashlights, but some said that there might even be, a bug, lightning bug or a firefly. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's certainly possible, but I don't know. I think these are lights of some sort. But that's just my opinion. But she says, while this is going on, there is a suspicious car. And for those that don't know, this house that has the surveillance footage not only has a camera pointing this way, but they actually have a camera pointing this way, which I'm going to show in the demonstration here.
They don't. No track. You don't believe those 3:10 a.m. lights were around 3:10 after 3 a.m. were trash truck lights.
Not only do I not believe it, but the neighbor that has the actual footage.
Okay. Does anyone honestly believe that they're trash trucks? Some people said they're floodlights from people's homes. I had a lot of comments about that. But the lights keep moving.
That was what I thought. Floodlights don't move.
Floodlights don't move. And no trash truck is going to be in someone's damn backyard. Okay? Come on. Go sell ice to another Eskimo while you're at it.
Exactly.
And I don't know why people jump into comments and go, Brooke says they're floodlights. Where did that come from? If it's your opinion, just say, I think it's floodlights. Then I'd be like, oh, okay. But I mean, sometimes people put things out there as if it is just the absolute truth. And we don't know the absolute truth because law enforcement is keeping things to the vest. It appears to me that a car was parked somewhere and it's flashlights.
Swore up and down that there are two different circumstances. There was the car with the lights coming towards the car backed up on Kellen and left.
The lights that are coming towards the car. So when she mentions two different events, I'm going to break this down even more here in a minute so you guys kind of understand what she means by two different events. And then this is really going to show that, yeah, they know that this isn't a garbage truck. And I think it's very interesting that they've been very close to the vest, very ominous when it comes to this footage. Tells me that there's more to this footage than they want the public to know.
And then about 2-ish hours, hour and a half, hour 42 something, they're like she said, the time stamp on the video is not working. It is stuck. She said, but you can tell because it's pitch black dark in the middle of the night when the car comes down the street, turns onto Stafford, sits there for about 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, right there. So this is a little bit weird. I think this lady is, being completely honest. But there's a few things where I'm like, she says that the car's on Kellen for the most part. But then here in this part, she says it actually goes up Stafford and sits there for a few minutes, which, oh my God, there was something I was kind of playing around with. And those alleged floodlights, those two lights that are at the top. Had me kind of wondering, are those actually floodlights or are they from something else? But we'll talk about that here in a minute. Lone Pony, great job, Chris. This is the first time I've seen the overlay. Explains a lot. Thank you so much, Lone Pony. If you're new to the channel, I love breaking down in visuals. So if you like that kind of stuff, please subscribe, hit that notification, hit that like button, comment below. This is the kind of style I love. Visuals.
When the car comes down the street, turns onto Stafford, sits there for about 3 to 5 minutes.
That was very interesting that she says that. So again, here's the camera where it's kind of pointed. Again, this isn't, 100% accurate because I'm not standing exactly where the camera's at, so I can't quite get that perfect angle. But we know that the camera's kind of pointing in this area here. And then, you know, we have one home here, and then right behind that home is Sebastian Rogers. And again, we know if we just watch the footage and fast forward, the subject 2 makes his way over, you know, kind of blinks in and out a little bit. But, you know, it doesn't blink, you know, like if it was going to be a garbage truck, you'd think blinking lights. You know, they got a lot of red light.
Okay, hold on. I need to. Occam's razor, I agree. Brutally Honest 78 said, for those hearing the lights are moving, the video was taken from someone holding their phone. It was not stable. Now, according to Nick Barris, this is from a security camera. Has anyone heard different?
That's what I've heard specifically. It was from security.
So somebody was standing out there and they were holding their phone, or did someone hold the phone to the security camera? Because all I have to go off of is what Nick Barris said about the video.
I thought it was directly from a security camera that somebody had submitted.
What I heard, and people were giving, they had the Secret Service there getting security footage, and who didn't have it readily available. So they're saying it's a picture of a picture, but Nick Barris, who put it out, said it's not. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It's, you know, they do have a lot of lights. It kind of depends on which garbage truck, but I would think if it was a garbage truck, you would be getting different lights. It would be kind of, you know, I don't think it would stay, especially with the red lights, you know, that they have on the back. You know, if this was going forward, you would think this color, it wouldn't just stay stationary white. It would be kind of, you know, like when you see a UFO and it's kind of changing, you know, different colors. But, you know, it stays stationary. Then notice this. This is where really caught my attention. So again, if you missed it earlier, I'll do a big recap at the end. But here is the hood of the truck, right? And so I ran a line, a perpendicular line, and just to see where the level is compared to these alleged floodlights. And I thought it was quite interesting that they're not much higher, or not really higher than this truck here, which kind of got me thinking, that are these really floodlights? Are they something else? Yeah, flashing lights. Yeah, so you would think that. So again, just another kind of overlay, kind of showing you again. This isn't 100% accurate, but just kind of gives you a general idea. I think these would be kind of back a little bit more, closer to that first house. And those lights would be more over here. But here is where I kind of got goosebumps when I did this. Because again, those lights don't feel like, you know, it seems like a lot of people have mentioned that the floodlights are coming from, you know, these houses up here, you know, one of these two houses, and that very well be. But when I noticed that the lights were kind of parallel to where the truck was at, makes me wonder if these lights are a little bit lower than people may think. And this is where I kind of got goosebumps. Remember, she just said that there's a car sitting to around 3 minutes on Stafford Court. Could this be a car parked? Because remember, it's a little bit uphill from where the surveillance camera is at. So it is at a slightly higher elevation, but I would think the car may be back a little bit more up the hill. But I do wonder, could this be, instead of floodlights, could this actually be headlights? from a car. Because they're so close. Now, of course, since the guy moves the camera, but yeah, could that just be headlights from a
The
car
flashlights are coming from two different.
just kind of sitting there? Let me know what you think in the chat. Again, it's just speculation. But I did think that was.
What do you think, Retro?
I'm thinking that I'll have to watch that video again because I thought that one light separated from the other one and disappeared from the frame, and the other one stayed. It's like they were a certain distance from each other, and then the distance increased, and then another, and then one of them just disappeared.
Well, let's go to the original one because people are saying that they move away from each other because somebody was their phone was shaky. Now, I mean,
yeah, I'd like to rewatch that because it seemed like the lights didn't stay the same distance from each other at all in that video.
Okay, well, let's look at it
I
again.
would expect headlights to do, obviously.
We can make our own mind up around here.
And this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared.
Now, I could see that looking like headlights. I could 100.
Okay, there's 2 lights up there, but then there's another one.
I can see
says
those.
subject. What's the subject one? Towards on the right. What is that?
You see 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area.
Okay. The security camera was pointed towards the common area where the lights are. So again, I don't want to hear about the trash truck shit anymore. All right?
Yeah, I don't think trash trucks usually drive through people's backyards.
V. Oakley, in her opinion, said when a phone camera is shaking, it will shake the whole video, not just one of the lights. Wildman's mom, so glad you're here. She said, I spent a whole day joining chats and asked people if they knew of neighbors who could help him. He got a lot of help and he deserves it. They've been talking to law enforcement. I think a lot of them, at least the 2 or 3 I've talked to, one person flat out told me that they think their, you're going to love this one. They thought that their property value was going to totally go down the gutter because of this, because they've always got people around there and everything. There's a few people trying to sell their house, and they said nobody wants to buy anything around there because of what happened.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't expect that. That's surprising.
Kind of a selfish thing to say. But I mean, Secret Service was, they got the videos.
In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area. And that is it. I know.
Well,
Okay.
the subjects don't move. The lights don't move together. The subjects with the lights don't move together. So that, to me, would rule out headlights. I don't.
Rexy, very good point. Thank you for bringing this up. There's a deep ditch there also.
Kind of interesting because I don't think those lights are very, very high. Yeah, the 2 lights are identical in shape and size, right? So, obviously headlights, they're identical. I'm sure, when I think of floodlights, yeah, you do have the 2. But yeah, I think that the 2 biggest ones would be floodlight. But I think, headlights could be thrown in that mix. Linda says those lights running around are not trash trucks. I don't care what law enforcement says. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is like, why are they being so funny with this? And again, we're going to break this down more. But with them being so funny about this, and then what are the odds you have this suspicious lights, whatever they may be, going on the night that he goes missing? You know, what are the odds? And then
I think the question is, I know people get up in arms and they say, watch this channel, watch this channel, watch this channel. It's been explained. Look, I get it. The internet's a big place. The question is, what are the damn lights? What are they?
Well, let me make sure I have this straight. It looks like there are two brighter lights that stay still, and then there are some two, like subject 1 and subject 2 are not as bright, and they move around in relation to each other, right?
Yeah, let's look at it again.
Yeah, I want to watch it again because it seemed like there was two bright lights, and then lights that look more like flashlights that don't stay the same. So it looked like it looked like to me it could be the two bright lights look like they could be headlights, and the other two look like people with flashlights.
Signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see two light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact that there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant.
How come the dogs aren't significant anymore?
The dogs, meaning the search dogs that didn't pick up his scent anywhere.
Basic gumshoe detective work. If the dogs did not pick up his scent, because it has been said that what Chris Proudfoot said is not true. She said he took the trash out. It has been confirmed by law enforcement that the dogs did not get a scent on him.
What was the other case? Was it Lacey Peterson, where they didn't, the dogs did not pick up her scent outside of the house when she went missing?
Yeah, they said that they couldn't detect her scent, so they knew she didn't take. And that was back in the early 2000s. They said, they knew that she was not walking in the park. Wildman's mom said, in my opinion, he was walked to whoever is waiting. My question is, why did the dogs not pick up his scent?
That's a really good question.
I mean, they ran those dogs all over the place. So whoever was waiting, how did the dog, or maybe they did. Maybe they just haven't told us. Last we heard, and I understand that we all have our favorite, flavor of ice cream. But the thing is, these are people's theories and speculation. This is not absolute proof, but I'm really digging what this man is saying. In my opinion, for the dogs to not have picked up his scent, he was freaking carried.
I don't know. I don't remember. Just the words that where I was told was unidentified car. I don't know if it was an SUV or a car or what. That was just what I was told. It was an unidentified car. And that was another thing is when I asked the lead detective, I said, this car that was on Kellen, he was like, yeah, we already figured that out. That was an Uber. And I was like, no, the Uber was a neighbor on Devon that ordered an Uber about 5:30 to go to the airport.
Now, this is huge. This story here, if you haven't heard it, this is very huge because this also ties in with the garbage truck, which I think is very important. This is why it just really just shows this, the light thing is not.
The question is, if he was carried, how are you going to carry someone out who's 120 pounds, 5'5"?
Yeah, that part makes that is a very good question.
That's awake. Wouldn't they be screaming and kicking unless they had too much medication? Brutally Honest said someone didn't do their homework. Go straight to the source. Go watch Mob Crew. Honey, they don't work for law enforcement. The source is what law enforcement puts out. The scent that CP put out lined up to the house by the car. Has that been verified by law enforcement? I'm totally digging their theory. I am. I really like this channel. I think they're really onto something. Hang on. Shits and Giggles says we saw him. You saw Sebastian being carried out? Who saw who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The garbage truck. So around approximately 5:30, a guy or somebody, I don't know if it's a guy. So she lives off Devon Street or up here somewhere, Miss Bobby. And then I guess one of her neighbors had called an Uber to be driven to the airport. That also happened that morning, but this happened around 5:30. Well, guess what comes around that time as well?
I know that. But the car sitting on, why would a car sit on Kellen if they were going up the street to get the customer?
Oh, look. So we have a garbage truck. So remember this, that home that's got the surveillance. Remember, they've got a camera, and I think I show it maybe here, but you got a camera pointing this direction. So you would see the garbage truck on one footage, and then you got a camera that's pointing towards Kelly Ave. So you would see the Uber driver driving up that. And so those would be happening around the same time. So that's where they were like, the public, especially like the neighbors that, that know about the footage and know what's been kind of out there as far as law enforcement, what they're saying doesn't add up because they're like, how can they mix this up when you've got these two events going on around the same time? How could you mix that up with, 3 a.m. to 3:30? And she says even the footage shows that it's kind of light out, where the footage that we see, obviously it's pitch black. We can't really make anything.
This is a really interesting theory from Jules with True Crime Reactions. Love you, girlfriend. She said, I've also wondered if the thud was real and it caused his death because of the fluid on his brain.
So an accident theory.
An accident.
That is interesting.
And she freaked out and had someone come get him, and she carried him to them in the dark. The only way the dogs are going to pick anything up. And other people have ran dogs.
So where exactly, I guess I'm behind on this, where exactly do we have our information that the dogs didn't pick up his scent anywhere? Is that coming from, has law enforcement provided that?
Sorry, I was reading a comment. I'm deep in thought right now. Because he didn't just vanish. And if you're running all those dogs, running all those dogs, there would be a scent of someone. I'm not saying that they're going to try to pick up Katie's scent. I don't know how well vested they were in investigating. Sometimes they'll have several different packs of dogs to pick up all kinds of scents in case somebody was carried. And let me tell you, Katie's a stout damn girl. She could throw him up over her shoulder. I wouldn't want to meet her in a dark alley.
Yeah, she's a pretty broad-shouldered gal, and it looked like Sebastian looked small for a kid his age.
Well, according to the FBI, he's 5'5", 120 pounds. If you think I'm going to lug 120 pounds around, you're out of your damn mind. Hell.
Well, yeah, me too. Same for me. For I couldn't carry someone for 120 pounds over the amount of space that's in that common area there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Two Boston moms. Why not call for help, though, if it's an accident? It makes perfect sense to me that he was carried out. It really does. Because dogs aren't going to lie. They're just not going to lie. They're not there to pick sides. They're not there to say, oh, I like Seth. Or, oh, no, I like Chris and Katie.
So, but the other question would be, who they were. I mean, they could have had somebody. He could have been carried out by somebody that wasn't Katie. Also,
true. And who would it be? Be a boyfriend? Did Chris somehow get home and get back to work to be accounted for? I don't know. Wiz said Adam did it to Harmony, so don't think it's not possible. Well, Harmony was also 30 pounds and could fit into a bag. Sebastian's 15, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but she says in the footage that with the garbage truck, the sun's kind of coming up a little bit, so it's not just pitch black. So it's like she says it's completely obvious when the garbage truck comes.
Somewhere to leave. I mean, you don't sit there.
Coincidentally, at the same time, lights are flashing around the time.
Well, at the same time, the trash truck would have been through there. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't have gotten that confused. Why would a car be sitting on our road like around 3:30, 4 o'clock Monday morning? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, one thing.
Yeah, that's a good question, Julie. I am not sure. I don't know if somebody can answer that. Do we know if the cops have checked where the dust cart drops off all the trash when it's full? Are you talking about where they take it? Like landfill? I'm not sure if I fully understand the question. I apologize, Julie. How many times do they empty the dust cart in one shift? That's interesting. I haven't heard the term dust cart, so everybody garbage situation is different depending on where you live. But yeah, that's interesting. We got NFT becoming a member and supporting the channel. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, NFT. You are a legend. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please show NFT some love in the chat. And thank you. It's great. No Drama channel. That is the channel. Let me play this so I can read chat here. I have this white thing down at the bottom, and I kind of figured out what that was. So here's that. So notice as these start to line up, you're going to see this light right here. And it's going to kind of match up with this here. And that's just coming from the floodlight over, kind of shining.
Hang on. Brutally Honest said, Brooks, can you go to the video where he gives the breakdown and overlays, not this video? I will. I apologize. It won't be today because I haven't had enough time to go through all of them. I'm still getting part of the way through some Chris McDonough breakdowns, everyone has a different theory, but we certainly will go through that. And you're welcome to come on panel anytime you want, give your theory, give what you think is going on. I mean, I'm on pins and needles for law enforcement to give us something, but I will say that on Monday blew my mind for the FBI to say, we're putting up 50K.
And since this guy, whoever did the footage, is kind of zooming in and around, notice you kind of get this like kind of oval shape that's obviously got, you know, a hole in the middle. And that's really, it's just the car door driver's side truck window with the trim is what you're seeing around it. And that's what's lighting up right there. And anyway, I just thought I'd kind of help add some perspective to what's going on, not just with the lights, but with that as well. But just one more thing. Like I said, if you look at that truck right there, and if you just do a straight line over, it's almost lined up with these lights right here. So that means that these lights are not very high up. I mean, they still could be floodlights. But I do wonder, especially how this lady was talking about this car possibly being on Stafford for sitting for like.
Let's look at this because I'm beyond intrigued right now. Hold on. Okay. I think this is what Brutally Honest was talking about. Because people have argued with me for months about the lights. They have argued and argued and argued and argued. And I'm like, I think it's significant. I understand that the police say it's not, but it could be. They don't talk the way we do. Let's look at this, the way he's breaking this down. Again, this is from the mob crew.
Like she said, the time stamp on the video is not working. It is stuck. She said, but you can tell because it's pitch black dark in the middle of the night when the car comes down the street, turns onto Stafford, sits there for about 3 to 5 minutes. The flashlights are coming from 2 different directions in between the yards. They do whatever they're doing around the car. The car backs up Kellen and leaves from Stafford. I'm sorry, backs up Kellen and leaves.
What's up, mob crew? I'm Chris, and today's video is a big one. We're going to be breaking down the surveillance footage that was released early on in the Sebastian Rogers case. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen this, but I'm going to break it down in ways and show you things that you may have not noticed before. And I've also got some interviews that also break down what allegedly happened that night. And in my opinion, after seeing this footage and what I'm about to break down and debunk, I believe this may have a connection to Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. I do not think it's a coincidence that we have these strange lights and an unidentified vehicle, for those that have not heard that before, the same night that Sebastian Rogers disappeared. So stay tuned. Please stay until the end, and thank you so much for watching.
About midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning. And that's when he wasn't here.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So this is Sebastian Rogers' neighborhood. And there is where the Rogers, Proudfoot home located here. And this is the house that has the surveillance camera located here. The camera points this direction. In footage, we can see multiple vehicles parked in the driveway. Now the vehicles are parked different from how they were in the footage. So here's an example of how they were parked. Now in the footage there are multiple objects, so I'm going to break down each one. We can see this white outline of something on the bottom. This is actually the driver's side window and trim from the white truck being lit up by the floodlights. What I did here is take the original screenshot of the footage zoomed out and the overlay, the actual footage that was filmed, and show you how that lines up. Now notice how things shake around a bit. I'm going to explain why I believe things are a bit shaky in this footage. So I believe that either the homeowner or the reporter came over, had them zoom in on the footage, and recorded it with a cell phone. And because of that, their hand was not steady, and this caused the footage to be a bit shaky. And it explains why the quality seems to be degraded a bit.
Oh, this is intriguing. Wow.
It is intriguing. My question is, who, I don't need their names. Who said it was a video from a video? Because I'm taking it right now with my cell phone and it's not shaking around. Like I'm watching it from behind my screen right now. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell they have. A Nokia from 1992? I don't know. Well, they wouldn't take videos. So I'm confused about that, considering facts as we know it, which came from Nick Barris. He originally said it was from a security camera.
Yeah, I had never heard anything of it being from a cell phone. I was under the impression that it was straight from a security camera.
It probably is a video of a video, to be quite honest. Hell, you know what it would take for me to download shit from my Arlo camera, which is a hunk of junk? That'd take me forever. I don't know how to use QuickTime and do it.
For some reason, law enforcement and the family tell the public that these lights have no major value to the case, and have even claimed they are lights from a garbage truck. Let's listen to a short clip from an officer talking about the lights. Notice the strange answer he gives.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see two suspicious light sources, which we've circled here in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said
No evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know.
All right. According to Seth, he had a meeting with Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Okay. And they told him it's a trash truck.
Oh, that's not good.
Nick Barris says it is footage from a security camera that points at a common area, which, by the way, the trash truck would not go through there. All right. But remember, law enforcement can lie to you.
Yeah.
Now, Seth said,
but they can, they should be a bit more sophisticated than that, though.
they can clean it up real quick. It doesn't mean they have to release it to us. I mean, I'm definitely smelling what they're stepping in.
No. So yes, it could play a role.
Since we have a screenshot of the footage fully zoomed out, we can do some simple measurements using basic science to determine where the objects are located. Notice the hood of the truck in the top left. If we take a straight line from the hood, we can see that the two lights at the top, which have been assumed to be floodlights. And using this line, we can determine that those lights cannot be any higher than the hood of that truck. Using this method, we can determine exactly where those lights are coming from. So looking at where that truck was parked that night, seen in this overview, photo here taken the day of, we can then use a Google Street image and line up approximately where that truck was parked. Notice we add the red line and look at where it takes us. There is a house exactly across the street. This house is next to the Rogers residence. This home has its garage facing towards the camera. It also has 3 garage doors on it. Guess what? That's right, it has floodlights above each garage door. So here, I am taking a street Google view of the direction of the camera and then adding the security footage overlaid into the Google image. And notice how the floodlights do line up with the image. But because the footage itself was filmed with a phone, it is a bit shaky. and doesn't always line up. But this does give you an example of where everything is taking place. The lights labeled as subject 1 and 2 are moving across the 2 yards. So the big question is, are they flashlights or something else? And where are they coming from exactly, and where are they going to? What I'm about to show you next will shock you to your core, because the angle of the camera is not quite level with the street. I realized that in order to match up the footage and image correctly, it needed to be tilted a bit to match the angle of the camera footage. And by doing this, literally put all the pieces to the puzzle together. And what you're about to see, in my opinion, is exactly what happened that night. And pay close attention to where those lights are coming from. I also fixed the footage the best I can to keep the floodlights lined up with the garage. Notice we can see subject 1 just behind the house to the right. Then we see subject 2 literally come out from behind the house to the left. This subject literally came from the yard shared by the Proudfoot's home. As subject 2 heads towards subject 1, we noticed that the light disappears right behind the gazebo between the 2 homes. As we continue to watch, notice that it seems like subject 1 is waiting for subject 2 to get closer, as if guiding this person to a car waiting nearby. Noticed as we wait for subject 2 to reappear, we see that subject 1 now moves behind the home to the right, and we cannot see them anymore. Then we see subject 2 reappear to the right of the gazebo. Noticed as subject 2 moves to the right, there are trees, and the light shimmers as it moves closer to the home on the right. I believe this is not a coincidence that Rogers goes missing the same night that around 3 a.m. Lights are coming from the direction of Rogers' home, and the neighbor mentioning an unidentified vehicle parked on the street nearby. Here is me zooming in on where subject 2 is coming out from, and noticed it clearly pops out just behind the home to the left, the same yard that's shared by the Proudfoot's home. In my opinion, I believe this footage shows the potential abduction of Rogers. Here is a quick clip by the neighbor explaining that there is an unidentified car parked nearby when these lights are moving around.
The flashlights are coming from 2 different directions in between the yards. They do whatever they're doing around the car. The car backs up Kellen and leaves from Stafford. I'm sorry, backs up Kellen and leaves. And then.
Okay, the question is, who set this up? Who, if this theory is correct, and this is 100% facts, truth, going to a jury, almost said Jersey, going to a jury, who wanted him gone? It makes absolute sense, 100%. Especially
That's the question.
Especially when you correlate it with what Bobby said and with what other neighbors have said. Who set this up?
And there's a reward for information leading to the person who's responsible for his disappearance. So there are people there's apparently that tells me that there's a group of people who know about this.
Mm-hmm.
Likely a small group, but a group nonetheless of people who know about what happens according to what the FBI is putting their money on.
Mm-hmm. And it's
that seem to, wouldn't you say, Brooks, that seems to be, it seems to point to a small, tightly knit group of people who know, who are involved.
Oh, it's definitely tight knit because they're having to open up their pocketbooks to get answers. Seth is screaming all over the place. Chris and Katie are just saying, hey, thanks for your generosity for offering the reward. Was there a thud at all? That's a question. He had to have been carried out because, according to law enforcement, now, they can lie, they cannot disclose. That is the truth. And we really don't want them to, because I mean, what do we want at the end of the day? We want justice for the victim and we want a conviction.
Yeah, exactly. And there, he said, he can't say what this is because it's not relevant, but he can't say what they are because they don't have evidentiary value, but he can't say what it is because it's an ongoing investigation. Double talk to me.
And that happens.
Yes, and that I would expect, one expects that from law enforcement. Yes.
Rexy55 said Chris did not want Sebastian around. Sebastian might have hurt his custody case. That is a very, very common opinion. A very common opinion. Another opinion is, there's been a lot of rumors that Katie had a lot of extramarital affairs and just kind of like to have her time when Chris was gone, and that it was well known. There's theories that Seth had this Gerber life policy. And I looked that up. I mean, they're usually like 10 grand. He's not going to trade the life of his son for 10 grand. Get real. And they're like,
yeah, that makes, I can't buy that.
No.
For 2 cents even.
And they're like, well, he's the one that's always complaining about, how shitty his apartment is. And I wouldn't be surprised if, Katie knows what she's doing. If she didn't use phone jammers, there's a reason there was no cameras around that house.
Well, what did Katie basically say in that interview? What was her account of that night in that interview? Or the account that she gave that night in that interview was pretty brief. She said, I told Sebastian to go to sleep. He said, good night, I love you. He went to sleep. And then I heard a thud and I told him to be quiet. And then the next morning he was gone. Isn't that essentially all? Or was there anything more to it than that much?
Well, her timeline changed a lot. I mean, she hops around from 9 p.m. to 10 to midnight, put the dogs up. Why do the dogs have to be put up? Because they only get put up when Chris is home because he doesn't want them in the bed. That's his words, not mine.
Yeah, that seemed kind of like filler.
Yeah, there's a lot of filler in this case. A lot. I mean, a lot of word salad with no ranch dressing.
Seems like there's a lot more filler and word salad coming from the Proud Feets than from Seth.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do some sort of, jammer or something like that. None of this would surprise me. Hence why it's been 6 months. Now, there's other cases that have gone on much, much longer. And I just don't understand what the holdup is. But it's not for me to know.
And 2 or so hours later, as the sun is just beginning to come up, you can see the trash truck. And she said, but the trash truck goes past her driveway. She said, you can see the trash truck and the lights and the back of the truck go past her driveway, go up the hill, do its business, turn around, come back down. And then within a few minutes later, the sun is coming up. And then you can.
If you would like to hear the whole interview by the neighbor, the link is down in the description below.
That was a great interview that JLR did. And the one I did with the neighbor that's catty corner from from the Proud Feets, he gave a lot of insight as to what was going on in the house. And people said, oh, she just paid a DoorDash driver. Yeah, like I'm really going to get someone up to speed.
Okay, so does JLR have 2? Does he have 2 interviews? With neighbors? Oh, he does. Okay, I'm going to have to watch the other one. I didn't know that.
No, I was talking about my interview with the neighbor.
Oh, okay, okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, he walks by their house every day, and all the insight he gave it's been proven now. But I want to say thank you so much for Robin B for coming up today, and my girl Retro Thank you so much for coming up. Can we please have a round of applause? Don't forget to watch all of these very, very interesting videos on Mob Crew. We had a great panel today. Allegedly, with Brittany was supposed to be on today. I don't know. She's been sick. I don't know what's going on. I just sent her a message. She's welcome to come on anytime she wants. I just really appreciate all of you being here, being the real ones, and being here for the cases, not the faces. I hope you guys have an amazing Labor Day weekend. We were planning on going to the lake, but in Oklahoma, looks like we're going to have a rainy Labor Day weekend. So if I don't see you over in one of the Facebook groups, don't see you on Discord, I think we're going to have us a little Labor Day picnic here on Monday. Members only. You guys are going to be really surprised at who shows up. You guys are the absolute best. Me, love you, long time.